Hello friends, and Merry Christmas! It is officially the most magical time of the year, which means that it is officially the best time of the year to read. It is the time where we snuggle up under blankets and read in the light of the Christmas tree, and it is absolutely my favorite season to read in. So I thought today we would take advantage of that by reading some Christmas-themed books. I definitely want to take advantage of this holiday season to read as many magical books as possible and as many whimsical books as possible. And so in order to achieve that goal, I have a couple books here for us to read that are holiday themed. First, I'm going to be reading A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. I have not read this book in a very, very long time, and I think the last time I read it, it was a children's book adaptation. So that tells you how long it really has been since I've read this book. And I know that so many people read this every year at the Christmas season. And so I'm excited to join them in their tradition this year by reading it with you guys. This book is so short and sweet. It is only 124 pages. So I'm thinking that we could probably read this one in a day or maybe two if I start it in the evening. And so that is the first one we're going to be reading. The next two that we're going to be reading are a little bit more Hallmarky, classic Christmas romancy type books. I already had A Christmas Carol on my shelf, but I realized that I didn't have any other Christmas books on my shelf. So I went to the secondhand bookstore and I picked out two books there. The first book is The Santa Suit by Mary Kay Andrews. This one looks so festive. Now, I have no idea what this book is about or the next book is about. I just saw them at the secondhand bookshop, thought that they looked good. And honestly, I was a little bit disappointed by the lack of holiday books at the secondhand bookshop. I guess not very many people wanted to consign them. So I didn't necessarily have many options. So I grabbed the two that I thought looked the best based on the cover, and there was only like 3 or 4 options. So we are going to find out together what this book is about. When newly divorced Ivy Perkins buys an old farmhouse sight unseen, she is definitely looking for a change in her life. The Four Roses, as the farmhouse is called, is a labor of love. But Ivy didn't bargain on just how much labor. The previous family left so much furniture and so much junk that it is a full-time job sifting through it all. At the top of the closet, Ivy discovers an old Santa suit, beautifully made and decades old. In the pocket of the suit, she finds a note written in a childish hand. It's from a little girl who has one Christmas wish, that her father would return home from war. This discovery sets Ivy on a mission. Who wrote the note? Did the man ever come home? What mysteries did the Rose family hold? Ivy's quest brings her into the community at a time when all she wanted to do was to be left alone and to nurse her wounds. But the magic of Christmas makes miracles happen, and Ivy just might find more than she ever thought possible. A welcoming town, a family reunited, a mystery solved, and a second chance at love. That just sounds like the perfect little Christmas romance mystery. And although I'm not a huge Christmas Hallmark movie fan, I do have 1 or 2 that I go back to every single year. So who knows? Maybe this will be the book version of those movies that I go back to. The second book that I have is Royal Holiday by Jasmine Gilroy. And I didn't know this at the time that I got it, but apparently this is book 4 in an interconnected standalone series about wedding parties. So if I really like this book and I like her writing, then maybe I'll continue on with the series and also go back and read the other books in the series. Honestly, right now I'm just looking for Christmas vibes, and this one is definitely giving Christmas vibes. I also don't know what this one is about, so let's find out. Vivian Forrest has been out of the country a grand total of 1 time. So when she gets the chance to tag along on her daughter Maddie's work trip to England to style a royal family member, she can't refuse. She is excited to spend the holidays taking in the magnificent British sights. But what she doesn't expect is to become instantly attracted to a certain private secretary, his charming accent, and his unyielding formality. Malcolm Hudson has worked for the Queen for years and has never given a personal private tour, until now. He is intrigued by Vivian the moment he meets her and finds himself making excuses just to spend time with her. When flirtatious banter turns into a kiss under the mistletoe, things will snowball into a full-fledged fling. Despite a ticking timer on their holiday romance, they are completely fine with ending their short, steamy affair come New Year's Day. Or are they? So that is the final holiday book that we are going to be reading together. Hopefully all of these give me the immaculate Christmas vibes that I am searching for right now, and they put me even more in the holiday spirit that I already am. I will keep you guys updated on which book I choose first and how I like each one of them as I go along. Hello, it is time to continue our Christmas festive reads. I thought that we would start with A Christmas Carol, partially because this is the one that I really wanted to read during this Christmas season, and partially because it's crazy short, and I think that we can get through this today. It's only 124 pages. So if I sit down and dedicate at least a little bit of time to it, I think that it will be fairly simple to get through this today. And maybe we'll even be able to start the next book depending on how quickly this one goes. But this was definitely the highest priority book for me to read, since this is the book that inspired this entire video. So we are going to start with A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. I just finished A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens, and I have to say, this was way better than one, I remember, and two, better than any sort of adaptation that I have seen thus far. Usually when I think of A Christmas Carol, I think of like Duck McScrooge version or the Jim Carrey version, and I just don't know if this book being made into a movie adaptation is the best way to consume this story. I think that the original Christmas Carol is far better than any adaptation that has been since. And it only took me like 2 hours to read. So it's kind of like the perfect holiday festive read. It's something that you can read every year in an afternoon or in 2 afternoons if you don't have very long to read it. But it's just the perfect little Christmas book. I see why people read this book every year now. Besides just the fact that it is short in length, the actual story and writing of this is fantastic. I thoroughly enjoyed myself. If you have not read the original Christmas Carol story in a long time, I definitely recommend that you do so this holiday season. Now time to decide which book I'm going to read next on our holiday festive reads list. The Santa Suit by Mary Kay Adams looks very enticing just because of how short it is, but A Royal Holiday sounds like a more fun premise since she goes to England for the holidays. But I'm kind of feeling a Christmas in England more than I am a small town Christmas. What do you think? I think I'm gonna have to go for Royal Holiday. Christmas abroad just sounds like a lot of fun. So I will start this book tonight, possibly. I have a little bit of editing to do, so I might have to start it tomorrow, but my goal is to start it tonight. And yeah, I will keep you guys updated. It has been a couple of days since I've updated you guys on Royal Holiday, and the main reason for that is, honestly, this book is kind of boring. I mean, the concept of it is really cute and sweet and festive and Christmassy and all that, but it's not playing out in a way that is super engaging. I feel like this is one of those books where, like, if this was made into a Hallmark film, then people would love it. But I personally just don't think that Hallmark-like books translates very well. I think a huge portion of the charm of those movies is being able to see everything that's around you and having the music and the facial expressions, and that's what makes those movies work. And since you don't have most of that in books, it just doesn't work as well. At least in my opinion, it doesn't work as well. I'm on page 197, chapter 11, and there's 18 chapters. And yeah, it's boring. I have to like convince myself to pick this book up and read it because I'm just not entertained. I don't want to read it. So with that being said, I am going to try to finish this book today, mostly because I want to move on. But I don't want to DNF this book because I am 3 books away from hitting exactly 80 books that I will have read this year. And I don't want to have to start over. And I like that nice round number. So in order to hit that 80 books, I need to finish this book. So we're going to be finishing this one today, and then we're going to move on to our last book, which is The Santa Suit by Mary Kay Adams? Andrews. by Mary Kay Andrews. I can remember things. And honestly, after reading Royal Holiday, I am not super excited to read this book either because it's the same thing. It's like something that would probably be great as a Hallmark movie, but probably won't be super engaging as a book. So I'm not super excited about starting this one, but again, I want to hit exactly 80 books this year, and this book is so short. It's only like 209 pages or something like that. Like, it's really short. I think this is my best bet in order to get to the 80 books on time because it's currently, I think it's December 15th. So I'm very quickly running out of time, and with Christmas right around the corner and lots of holiday festivities and traveling all right around the corner, I need something short. That's my update for now. So, as you may have noticed, I did not actually get a chance to film myself read this book before I finished it. And that is because last night I couldn't sleep very well. So I literally just stayed up and binged this entire book. Like, I read this entire thing in like an hour and a half. This book is, in my opinion, more entertaining than A Royal Holiday. Though I do have the caveat of the characters in Royal Holiday are more in-depth and they're more fleshed out, but this book is just kind of like a fun little whimsy small town Christmas book. I mean, this book is like 200 pages. It's like 210, 215 pages. Like, it's not very long at all. So there wasn't really enough time to get everything fleshed out, and there were like more than one plot lines happening. It's just like there's a plot line with her friend, then there's a plot line with the note in the Santa suit, and then there's a plot line of her moving to this town post-divorce and the story with that. So this book only takes place like maybe over a week, and everything happens so fast and nothing happens in depth, even though the characters were more shallow and everything was happening super, super quickly. Honestly, it was fast-paced enough that it wasn't boring. In my mind, that made it a little bit better than Royal Holiday, because Royal Holiday, I was just like, okay, like, I just want to get this book over with. Like, I was so bored. But this one, I didn't have a chance to be bored because it was over so quickly. I gave this book 3 stars. I will never read it again. And to be honest, I'm going to be probably very picky about any holiday books that I pick up in the future. I don't know. We'll see if I read another Christmas book in the future. If I do, I'll probably get a book that is very highly loved and has multiple people saying that, like, no, this is actually a really good Christmas book, because I want to be a little bit more picky with holiday themed reads in the future. And with that being said, that's pretty much all I have for today. I'm sorry I didn't get a little bit more footage of me reading this book, but again, I read the entire thing in the middle of the night, so I didn't really have a chance to film it. I hope the main takeaway from this video is that this holiday season, you should read or reread A Christmas Carol. Personally, I think that it is just a perfect little holiday read. And that's all we have for today. So thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments if you met your reading goal for this year, and if you haven't, how many books you have left in your reading goal for this year. And I will see you guys next time.